Welcome back to the 3 Point Show. It's your boy Mike 3P, and today we are getting into the Lakers versus Nuggets Game 4. But before we get into that, do make sure you like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I'm watching these games at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, going into 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, to do this just for you guys. So make sure you subscribe. You get me? I'd appreciate it. Now, going into this game, it was after game 3, we saw a ridiculously low, historically low game from rebounding game from all the bigs, JaVale McGee, AD, and Dwight Howard. I think they combined for 4 more rebounds than I did, and I'm sitting at home. So it wasn't good enough. And the Denver Nuggets came out firing. They had a point to prove. I think if they went 3-0 down in the series, it would have been a wrap. Even though they are good at comebacks. They've done it 3-4 times in a row now. I don't think that they'd be able to survive this one. Statistically, the Lakers are 18-1 when AD and LeBron James combined for 60 points, and that is what they did yesterday. AD AD had 34 points, and LeBron James had 26, 9, and 8. I mean, for me, I look at this game and I thought, it's all about matchup line. You need to chase the Nuggets off the line, because when they get scorching hot, they're a problem for any team, and that's probably one of the main reasons why they can mount a comeback at any time. So they were 18-1. I think with the Lakers, for the most part, what LeBron and AD are going to do. They're going to probably combine for a few 50, 60 points, probably 25, 27. If not, AD probably average 30. I think he's averaging 30 in the series. AD will average 30. LeBron will give you 25 to 26. 26 points per game. So they're going to combine for 56. But now you need the others. I mean, you look at Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been absolutely balling in the recent games. He dropped 13 points last night. Dwight Howard was a very, very, very key insertion into the lineup. The difference between Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee is not only is obviously Dwight a much better rebounder, he's a better defender. JaVale McGee he's got good energy. He's good on offensively at points. He can get putbacks. He can fight for lobs and whatnot. But with the Joker, you need someone that can get up in him, because obviously the guy can't be rushed and he's a great player. But to stop someone like him, you need to be physical. Same with Jamal Murray. You need to be physical with these kind of players, because skill-wise, they're right at the top. Do you know what I mean? For example, Jamal Murray hasn't missed a free throw this whole series. Cold-blooded. That's what kind of skill level they were talking about. And if you look at what Jamal Murray's doing out there on a day-to-day basis, you'd think that he's a Harlem Globetrotter. He's just getting any bucket he wants. But you're looking at others. You look at Rajon Rondo, giving you good minutes and good points. He's averaging 9 assists in this series, and he's coming off the bench. He's only playing like 20, 25 minutes a game. You're looking at Kyle Kuzma is doing what he can. And now Danny Green, and I said this when we acquired him. Danny Green's a funny one, because he's so hot and cold, it's ridiculous. Some games he can give you a streak where he will give you at least 15 points. He will be chucking them in. He'll probably score from anywhere, hand in his face or hit. Then there's other days he couldn't score they're paying him. He couldn't score if it was free, if they were open buckets. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. And then going over to the Nuggets, I look at Jamal Murray, who is quite comfortably established as one of the better point guards, up-and-coming point guards in the league. When Steph and the Harden start to fizzle out, I think he's put himself right in that conversation for him to make all-star appearances like a Devin Booker, like a Trae Young, all these obviously trades in the East. But do you know what I mean? He's put himself as, I'm obviously the next coming, which is weird, because I was gonna. So Jamal Murray has obviously put himself back in that situation. But obviously it's a 1-2 punch with the Denver Nuggets. See the Joker, it's pretty much the whole thing is the Joker and Jamal Murray. It's pick and pop. It's the ability to pass and score at will. Now, what they were really good at doing is putting Jokic into foul trouble. Jokic couldn't get his game going. He only finished with 16 points, I believe it was, And it was the same with Paul Millsap. Now, when your bigs are in foul trouble, really and truly, that means you're gonna have to have a lot of minutes with Michael Porter Jr. playing and Jeremy Grant playing because they're obviously in foul trouble. Now, Jeremy Grant is quite good on defense. He's all right as long as athletic. But Michael Porter Jr. couldn't guard a parked car with the Uzi. He is that bad on defense. But the thing is, obviously, offensively, he's gifted. One of the more gifted players in the league. Jamal Murray, he went 12 for 20. He scored 32 points. And he didn't make a free. So it shows you that the Lakers really tried to force him off the line. I mean, he can get hot. We saw what he was doing the other day. I think I'll try to insert a clip. But he can get hot and just dash him. But that's what they really tried to restrict him from doing. And the fact that you can chase these people off the three-point line is what is the strength of the Lakers. Because if you look at it off the last 6-7 games of what we've seen, except for obviously game 1 of the Nuggets, is because they're so sharp from the three. You're looking at Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, and Monte Morris. Did I say Monte Morris? Yeah, Monte Morris. All these people are so sharp from the three that they can mount comebacks. But the difference is in this time is if you chase these guys off the line, or at least you chase their main guy who has the ball in his hand most of the time, in Jamal Murray, you're going to give yourself half a chance. What else gives you half a chance is your rebounding. I think Pat Riley famously said, no rebounds, no rings. And they took that to heart. I mean, them guys averaging, 4 or 5 rebounds between all of them was quite embarrassing, if I say so myself. But yesterday, they came back and they got it. You know what I mean? They had 25 second chance points. But in the first 2-3 games, they averaged 12, which shows that they're putting more of an emphasis in defense and rebounding and hustle plays. They ain't gonna just give up in the mid part and let rest on the laurels. Michael Porter Jr. and Kyle Kuzma are essentially meant to be the third scoring options or the third option of the team. I think both of them are starting to make it a competition between who's the best light skin player on the court or who's in year 17, 35 years old, 34, 35 years old, I believe it is. Yeah, 35, 1984. How this guy is able to D up a point guard in Jamal Murray like he did in the fourth quarter, was really good to see. Because you're looking at someone like, he's 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", and he's able to stay in front of a Jamal Murray who is, as he said, the most hot, one of the hottest players in the bubble right now. To do that from the 5-minute mark going forward really solidified why they won this game. It's that defensive intensity. I cannot get my words out. Defensive intensity, and then you look at what these are the kind of things that you want Kawhi Leonard to do. In the previous round, you probably want someone like a Donovan Mitchell to do, to take that responsibility of guarding the best man. And that's what LeBron did, especially in the fourth quarter. You're going on from 5 minutes onwards, 5 minutes down the stretch, and Jamal Murray didn't score. Jamal Murray was not putting the ball in the bucket, like he normally does. And that's mainly because of LeBron James. But obviously, the other people were helped out. Looking at Rajon Rondo, played absolutely great defense. A.D. also did the same thing. Now, after the press conference, sorry. Now, in my opinion, I think this series might be over. I think the Lakers want to nip this in the bud. I don't think the Lakers want to give. Well, they obviously don't. But you don't want to give this Denver team more life than it already has. They've already come back 4 times in a row now to Game 7s. This will make it obviously the 5th. And if they win the Game 5, in their head they're thinking, yeah, we've done this before, we can do it again. The Lakers need to nip that out immediately. Do whatever you can. If it means AD go, first of all, you need to do is get Jokic into foul trouble, get him out of his game. Then AD and LeBron need to go off. You need to put these Denver Nuggets away. Because if not, you're in big, big trouble. The Denver Nuggets talk. And it kind of makes sense because Denver are obviously a jump shooting team. And it's quite difficult to work out how does a jump shooting team get more free throws than a team that goes to the rack. You know what I mean? Goes to the rim quite often. It doesn't make no sense. You're more likely to get fouled than going up. You get the hand fouls, the little swipe downs that people try to do. But yeah, I mean, they shot 8% from the free throw line, and it was deservedly so. Now, Mike Malone said something after the game which was interesting. Let me bring it up. He said, if you can't help us on defense, then maybe you shouldn't be on the floor. Now, I don't want to speculate, but I already know, in my opinion, I think this is talking about Michael Porter Jr., and he's right. He's right. Michael Porter Jr. needs to know that the game is not just one way. I mean, he's terrific on the offensive, on the offense. He can pretty much do it all. He's 6'10", he can get to the rim, he can create off the dribble like he did against Kyle Kuzma. He can do all sorts. But defensively, he's just so bad. And I think obviously if he gets a bit of muscle, and I also think defense, I don't think he can be necessarily talented on defense. I think it's a case of how hard you work. If that makes how hard do you really want it. You think LeBron James, he said it, I took the personal task of Jamal Murray. Look at Draymond Green, he's undersized, but he wants it. Kawhi Leonard, obviously fast hands, yeah, that's athletically gifted, and long hands, but it's about how bad you want it. And Michael Porter Jr. needs to know that for him to reach that level, he needs to start playing defense at a better level than he's playing right now, for sure. Because right now it's just not good enough. Honestly, it's just not good enough. And yeah, that's, in my opinion, that's going to be the keys to game 4 or 5, I believe. I think they're going to play tomorrow night. But do make sure you like and subscribe. It's your boy Matt. It's from the 3 Point Show. And also, also, don't forget to share your views on the game in the comments. Do make sure you like and subscribe. Max from the 3 Point Show. We out.